In my last video about deploying a Lovable application to Netlify, we deployed using the Netlify steps in Lovable's documentation. However, these steps are not ideal because of the Netlify deployment link that they recommended us to use. If you use this link over here, number one, your GitHub project needs to be public, and number two, Netlify will create a second duplicate GitHub project, which we definitely don't need. In this video, I'm going to walk you through the better way of deploying your app with Netlify, using your single GitHub project created from Lovable, whether it's private or public. So let's do this. In this video, I'm assuming that you've already connected your Lovable app to GitHub. If you haven't done that yet, I'll link my previous Netlify deployment video below, which walks you through the entire GitHub connection before deploying with Netlify. Now let's get into the Lovable Netlify deployment issues. In Lovable's documentation, we have a page here called Setting Up a Custom Domain, and you can do this using Netlify or Vercel. The steps that I used in my last deployment video were the Netlify steps. But wait, how do you get to this setting up a custom domain web page in the first place? If you go to your Lovable application, this is my super simple blog CMS that I made in a previous video. I'll leave a link to the video in the description below. But if you go into the top right hand corner and click publish, you're going to have this deploy section over here where there's a link to the Lovable docs saying custom domain. So if you click on that, it brings you to this website documentation page over here. So this is my Lovable URL right here. If you click on that, it'll open a new tab with your complete Lovable application URL. Now, if you don't want to have .lovable.app in your URL, you're going to need a custom domain. So my URL right now is scribbler.lovable.app. Let's say you want scribbler.com like that, or if you want, scribbler.io or .dev, you're going to need a custom domain. And the way that you do that is with either Netlify or Vercel. Netlify is the first option that they present. Vercel is the second option, and it has a bit more steps because it has you creating a development branch in addition to a main branch, just so you're not doing an automated deployment to the main branch every single time. I can do an entire video on this Vercel deployment process and Git branching. If you're interested in that, please let me know below. But today we're going to focus on this Netlify section over here. So in this section, using Netlify, Lovable didn't include a few important points about this process. And it all has to do with this URL right here, app.netlify.com/start/deploy. And over here, you paste your GitHub repository URL. So this is Netlify's endpoint to initiate quick deployments. However, this link creates two issues, especially for us Lovable users. Number one, this Netlify URL requires your GitHub project to be public because this URL cannot authenticate against a private repository. And number two, in going through this process, Netlify will create a second duplicate GitHub project in addition to your original GitHub project, which is definitely not ideal as we just want one GitHub project, one source of truth for our code and for deployment. I run into both of these issues in my previous Netlify deployment video. So again, if you want to check that out, link in the description below. So if you want to deploy your Lovable app's private GitHub project and you don't want two different GitHub projects to manage, the solution is to manually connect GitHub in your Netlify account. And that's what I'm going to show you right now. All right, so over here in netlify.com, I actually deleted my account so that I can go through the process from scratch with you all today. So I'm going to go ahead and click sign up. You can sign up with either of these options, but I'm going to choose sign up with email. Signing up with email, I'm going to need to verify. After you click the verification link in your email, you're going to need to fill out a few fields here. First name, last name, how you're planning to use Netlify, what do you want to build first, and what's the name of your team. So I'm going to fill this out real quick. All right, so down here, I filled out all the fields. I'm going to click continue to deploy. So after clicking continue to deploy, you are led to this screen over here. You can get right into connecting GitHub. But I'm actually going to skip this step and go to kind of the dashboard / the home screen of Netlify so you can be familiar with that view too. But surely if you wanted to connect your GitHub project at this step, you can definitely do that. And it's going to be the same steps that we're going to do in just 1 second. So I'm going to click skip this step for now. And here we are in the main view of Netlify. This is the site section over here. You can see add your site to Netlify, and we're going to select import from Git. Now over here, you can see we are met with the same options that we had in that window after setting up our profile information. So if we go ahead and click on GitHub, it's going to authorize GitHub, which it did that pretty quickly. And I think because I previously connected Netlify to GitHub, but when you click on that button, a pop-up window is going to come up. And I believe you're going to have to log into your GitHub account so that Netlify has access to your GitHub account. And once you've logged into GitHub, this creates an authorized connection from Netlify into your GitHub account. and you're able to select whether you want Netlify to have access to all of your projects, or you're going to be able to select if Netlify can only have access to certain projects, such as private projects. And as you can see over here, my Scribbler project is private, and we have now connected Netlify to a private project in GitHub. If you want to see exactly what happens in that screen where you connect GitHub and Netlify, in my previous Netlify deployment video, you're able to see all of that. I'm going to go ahead and click on my Scribbler project, and let's review your deployment with review configuration for Scribbler. This is my team. Site name, default URL, we're going to say Scribbler. So as you can see here, this is going to be the subdomain name of your URL. So scribbler.netlify.app, check availability. It's not available. Somebody already has this link. What? Let's just do Scribbler CMS. See if that works. Site name is available. All right. So then over here, you have some settings, main branch to deploy, base directory. You can leave all of this the same. And I don't have any environment variables, but if you did, you would add those over here. So let's click deploy Scribbler CMS. So once it finishes deploying, you're going to get this pop-up window over here that says deploy success. And you can click this link to view site deploy. And it goes to this deploy section over here, where you can open the production deployment, and you can see over here scribblercms.netlify.app login. Just to show you that I can log in, sign in, and we are here in the Scribbler application. So just to show you where everything is in Netlify again, if I click on the Netlify homepage, it brings you to this sites view over here. You can see the web page I just deployed is down here. So if you click on my Scribbler CMS site, this is the site overview, but you can then click on this link to view it in a different tab. What I want to show you real quick is site configuration. So really quick, if you wanted to change the subdomain name of your Netlify application, you just do that over here under site information, change site name, and you can change the subdomain name right over here. Now, if you wanted to do a custom domain, you go to domain management, and in domain management over here under production domains, you click on add a domain. And then over here, this is where you can check and verify whether a custom domain that you want to create is available or not. For example, scribbler.com, this shouldn't be registered. But for example, if you want to do scribblercms.com, this is probably available. And it's available for $14.99 for the first year. So again, if you have a Lovable application with a private GitHub repository, I don't recommend using the URL provided here in the Netlify documentation. I recommend you going about the steps that I just detailed in this video, connecting your GitHub account manually in Netlify, which is what we just did. So I hope you enjoyed this video today. I hope this deployment method maybe saves you a bit of time. Hope that you found the video helpful. And if you did, hit that like button, subscribe. Let me know if I missed anything or if you want me to cover something else in a future video. And I'll see you in the next one. Happy coding. Peace.